Okay, so the reason we're talking to you this week is because you have thought about and visited and written about this conflict that has blown up this week. Can you talk to me first, just in case people aren't familiar with the theme of that book, what it was based on?
So Apeirogon is a novel set in Israel and Palestine about an Israeli father and a Palestinian father who both lose their daughters in these moments of acute grief. And they really live in the country of grief. And they become the best of friends and they travel around the world. These are real life characters, Rami and Bassam, who are the best of friends. And the first people I called last Saturday when this news erupted.
How are they?
They are heartbroken. They're angry. They have a sense of inevitability. They could feel something was coming. But mostly they're just, devastated by what's happening and watching it unfold. They have several different ideas, but it all comes back to the fact that they find it a slur against their own people in so many ways. And they're very strong. They have sons and they have daughters and they have grandchildren, in fact, as well. But they told me something amazing. That they said that they felt that this war would end. That the war in itself, as an idea, the inevitability of it stopping. And then I thought, well, that can't be true. But then I thought about myself and I thought about Northern Ireland. And when I was 16, I never thought that we'd have 25 years of peace, even if it's shaky at the moment. And who would have thought, who could have dreamed that there would be an Israeli embassy in Berlin and a German embassy in Tel Aviv 20 years after the Holocaust? So the thing is that the impossible happens. And that the word possible is embedded within the impossible. So one of the things that Rami and Bassam talk about is that this will eventually stop. But the occupation, both of them feel this way, the Israeli and the Palestinian both feel that the occupation has to stop in order for any movement to come about. They won't talk to you about one state or two states or a confederation or a federation. Until the occupation ends, that's the only way that they feel that they can get out of it.
What happened in recent days? Because I think in Ireland there has been, you see Palestinian flags a lot, Palestinian scarves. There has been a sort of a feeling that this is the side to be on. I think what has happened in the last few days has really shocked a lot of people.
Look, I would like everyone to just for a moment do something very simple and take the word Israel and Israeli and swap it for Palestinian. And imagine, the same thing happening on both sides. And would you feel the same way? I had a friend of mine tell me yesterday, this was a prison break. And what do you think happens in a prison break? If you had a breakout from Mountjoy, what sort of anger would happen? A lot of people compare Gaza to being an open air prison. I think that's quite true. But they have 3 jailers. They had, the Egyptians as a jailer, the Israelis as a jailer, and a Hamas as a jailer. And not every Palestinian is a supporter of Hamas, just like not every Irish person was a supporter of the IRA. And we hated getting tarred with that brush. And so think about these things because they're messy.
We had a Palestinian, a very impressive young woman, a Palestinian student who she was on our programme on Upfront on Monday night. And I did ask her what, was there support for what we had seen play out over the previous few days, and she wasn't really willing to engage with that. There was no sense that we're all horrified. It's a very difficult moment for a lot of people who would instinctively be on the side of what they would see as the occupied people there. She was, in her early 20s, and she used the phrase, I am 6 wars old, and it really is so telling what if you subject people to that level of brutality, that level of oppression, for all of their lives, and for on a generational level as well, of course, that it hardens people to such a degree.
Of the young Palestinians that I've talked to, they've said, "Look, we don't have a life, and so so I'm prepared to lose it because it will bring about something else." But they don't feel that they've been given opportunity to a life, and this stuff is all very, very, very complicated, and we have to give great grace and time to the opinions. Time will tell us what has gone on here. I mean, I think it's it's horrific, and I think it should be condemned.